Hi and welcome to this Fusion 360 tutorial. Today we're going to look at how we can add colour and materials to our design that we created in Fusion 360 using the appearance options. We're also going to look at how we can export these bodies or these files for say 3D printing, and we're also going to look at how we can create an exploded view in a very simple way. So if we jump into Fusion, we can start the activities. Once you're ready for manufacturing your design, what we need to do is export these bodies. So we've got the bodies such as the cap, the bottom, and then the top. So what I want to do is export these. There's no reason to export the USB because we're not going to manufacture that. That is a bought-in component. So what we're going to do is select the lid. In this case, we're going to right click on it and go save as STL. We've already got it selected, which is fine, so it's in blue. We just need to leave this as binary. I don't really need to go into too much detail what the difference is between those two, but binary is fine. You can preview it, but what that might do is slow down your computer because what it's doing is showing you how it's made up of triangles. So the STL is made up of triangles. So you don't really need to worry too much about that. Refinement, you want to keep as high. If we go to low and go to mesh, you will see that's how many triangles it's got at the moment. If I go to medium, you see it's got a few more, and if I go to high, it's got even more. So you need to choose high because that will produce a higher quality, more accurate outcome. We don't want to send it to the 3D print utility. Okay, there are some other options here, but you don't really need to mess around with them. Let's keep it simple. And let's just go up here like that. So we've got binary, as I said. You can preview if you want. And I'm going to go to high. So just change custom. There you go, to high. That's fine. I'm going to click OK. And then what we need to do here is just give it a name, click save, and that will then save. So I'm just going to leave it as that for now. I'm going to click save. And once it's saved, depending on the size of the file, green bar will appear, then disappear, and that's it, saved. And you need to repeat that process for the other bodies. And then we're ready to send this into the software, which basically creates toolpaths for the 3D printer. What we're going to do now is add some colour or materials to our design. As you can see here, I've got the lid and the main bodies, as well as the USB on the inside. Now, if I just hide the lid, and one thing you might want to do actually is you could always rename these as well. So if I click on that, type in lid or top, and that one is my bottom. And actually, I'm going to call this one top. There you go. So top, bottom, and then the lid. There you go. So I know which one I'm selecting. So I'm just going to hide that. As you can see, this has already got some materials and a finish on the USB. So I'm going to right click on any of the faces and I'm going to left click appearance. As you can see, this will open this box. You may need to drag it around and grab it by the corner to maximize it. And what we've got here already, we've already got some materials that are in there. They're already on the USB. But in here, there are lots of different materials. So I'm going to come to plastic. And I'm going to come down here and what we're going to go for. We'll go for, let's have a look, just hide that one. So we're going to go into opaque. Or do I want a transparent one maybe to show off? Transparent or translucent. So let's have a look what some of these look like. You can always change it, remove them. So I've got down here, I found something I quite like the look of, and I could grab this and drag it on. You can see it's highlighting that body and it appears on this side here. I can always drag it onto there as well. And remove the appearance of the faces. So we could go remove. And we've got this quite weird design. So that's basically adding this sort of amber translucent plastic so I can actually see right through the design, which might look good. I mean, I could try it at the bottom one as well. It's a yet, I want to remove it. And it's giving me this sort of transparent look, which might be okay, but you might not want that. So I'm going to right click on here and I can always go unassign or delete and it will take it all off. So I'm not quite sure about the transparent one actually. I'm going to go into opaque. I'm going to go for a bit of green red maybe. So just drag that on. That's quite nice. All that red for the bottom. Yeah, that's quite cool. But then put the lid. And again, I might go for red for the lid and go, yes, I want to move that. Okay, like that. Now you might find that you're looking at it, you're thinking, yeah, that's quite good, but I want to, depending on your design, I want to add colours on different sort of faces. Because if you haven't noticed, when I drag the materials on, it's changed the entire body. So if I was making this, so injection molding it, or 3D printing it, then technically these parts or components would be made out of a solid material and be one colour, unless an extra finishing technique has been applied on top. So that's like what you can see here. All that's going to be red, all the underneath is going to be red and so on. Now what you can do, if I just go and assign these, is at the top, you've got bodies and components. That means it applies it to everything. And then you've got faces. So if I go bodies and components again, put that on there. But then I got face because I actually want to turn some of these yellow. There you go. I can now apply this to certain bits. So aesthetically, it might make it look a bit more interesting, for example. So that's a way of doing it there. And again, you've got loads of them. And if you want to get rid of any of them, you can right click and delete it. Now, if I just close some of these, if you come further down, like say, there's all sorts of things like stone, wood. So for example, let's put a bit of mahogany on that component. And it will come up. And later, I'll show you how you can actually render this as well to make it look more realistic. But I could add that finish onto it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to unassign. I quite like the yellow colour for that bit. I'm going to go for basic red on that, but then I might go to some faces and I might do that end like so. I'm going to come underneath and I'm going to do red on that one. Okay, so this again, it's a bit weird. It's up to you what graphically you want it to look like. But remember, if we are 3D printing it, the technique we're going to use is going to create a solid color. All right, so a solid bottom, a solid top. You could do them different colors like I showed you before, but this is quite a good way of just messing around and looking at different colors like so. And I can click close and they're all saved. The way I can get that back is just right click again, click on appearance, everything's saved in there. So I could go along here and I can unattach it or unassign it and get rid of it. That's fine. Okay. Now the other thing you might want to do is if I just click on that, sorry, and go down to colors. There we go. And everything that we can do is I can grab my lid, press M for move. What I'm going to do is just move this out of the way. This is the easiest way of doing it. There are other ways of doing it. I can just move that out of the way. So then if I wanted to show what it looks like, okay, with that off, that's a quick way of doing it, like so. What we're going to do now is create a exploded view. So if you go to the top and click on animation, you may have this box appear. So if we just close that down, we've then got room and space to work. So we're going to explode this to show some of the separate components or parts in case we wanted to show, say, some internal detail. Now, there is lots of ways we could do this. The easiest way is I'm going to show you is how to do it using the transform. So what I'm going to do is grab this component, and we've got a problem here. It's creating just that component there, but I want to be able to explode the top, bottom, and the lid. So we need to go back into our design, because what I need to do, because that's just generally one component, is I need to separate these. I'm going to right click on the lid, create component, right click on the bottom, create component, right click at the top, create component. And let's go back in at this time to animation and go to transform. Now I can grab these. I've got full control of where this is going to go. Go to transform again. I'm going to click on these just to show, zoom out, an exploded view. So that is a very, very simple way of creating an exploded view. There are other ways of doing that. Okay, if you go into transform, because you could do an auto explode, all levels, one level, and there's even a manual explode where you can select your components and pull them apart as well. The transform might be just the easiest way. Now you might be thinking, oh sir, I want to go back and I want to edit something. Do not worry, because when you go back into the design bit, it's together. It's all together, back in its original position. I can now come onto this, I can change the color, I can add any extra features, and then when I go back into animation again, it will appear like that with the updates. All right, so that's how you can do a very, very simple exploded view. Thanks for watching, and if you found this content helpful, please click like and subscribe, and also check out any other resources and videos created using the links in the description. I'll see you on the next one.